When you hear the word habit, what comes to mind? Habits can range from waking up early and exercising, smoking, consuming soft drinks, or playing games, and others. Habit is an integral part of our lives. In fact, research shows that at least 40% of our daily actions are based on habits, not conscious decisions. In this video, we'll summarize one of Charles Duhigg's books, The Power of Habit. Make sure to watch the entire video to get a complete insight, and not just a half-baked one. Don't forget to subscribe to the book notes to stay updated on other amazing book summaries. Transforming old habits into new habits for success. The choices we make every day are not necessarily the result of well-thought-out decisions. They are often small habits that, over time, shape our thinking, decision-making, and work routines. In this book summary, we will learn about the formation of habits, the key components of a habit, and how to change old habits into new, successful habits. You will discover why do habits appear in people's lives, how to build new habits, why does change happen, what makes the power of determination or willpower so important in changing habits, and how to plan for habit formation. The 3 stages of the habit loop are the habitual processes in the brain. The emergence of habits is due to the brain constantly looking for ways to save effort. Left alone, the brain will try to make almost every routine into a habit. Because habits allow your brain to relax more often. This instinct to save effort is a great advantage. An efficient brain allows you to stop constantly thinking about basic behaviors such as walking and choosing food. It allows you to save energy, for example to do urgent tasks at work. The habitual process in the brain is a 3-step loop. First, there is a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. Then, there is the routine, which can be physical or mental or emotional. And finally, there is a reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future or not. Over time, this loop becomes more and more automatic. The cue and the reward become so tightly bound that there's a very strong sense of anticipation and desire to acquire something. Eventually, a habit is born. Habits are not destiny. They can be ignored, changed, or replaced. When a habit emerges, the brain stops making decisions. The brain stops working hard or diverts to other tasks. Unless you intentionally fight a habit, habit patterns will run automatically. Habits are programmed into the fabric of your brain. This is a huge advantage for you, because it would be a pain if you had to relearn how to drive every time you went on vacation. The problem is the brain can't tell which habits are bad and which are good. So if you have bad habits, they are always lurking in there, waiting for the right sign, the right reward. However, simply understanding how habits work, learning the structure of the habit loop, makes them easier to control. Once you break a habit into its components, you can fiddle with the gears. Charles Duhigg. Cravings will drive the new habit loop. Usually cravings come on gradual until you're not even aware they exist. This causes you to often be blind to their influence, but once you associate a sign with a certain reward, subconscious cravings will arise in your brain that will start a habit loop. A new habit is created by bringing together a cue, a routine, and a reward. Then cravings grow that will drive the habit loop. Take smoking, for example. If a smoker sees a sign such as a pack of Marlboros, then his brain starts craving nicotine pleasure. If you don't get that nicotine fix, the cravings grow until the smoker unconsciously thinks about grabbing a cigarette. Anyone can use that basic formula to create their own habits. For example, if you want to exercise more, then just pick a sign like going to the gym right after waking up, and a reward like a glass of green tea after your workout. Then think about the endorphin rush you'll feel. That way, eventually the cravings will make it easier for you to come to the gym every day. You can change a habit, but you can't extinguish it. The secret to changing old habits is to use what's already in your head. Habits themselves are a three-step circle of cues, routines, and rewards. To make it easier, work on the intermediate step first, which is the routine. For example, if you want to change a habit, then you can keep the old cues, give the same rewards, but insert a new routine. That way you can change the pattern to change the habit, because almost any behavior can be changed if the cues and rewards stay the same as before. If you can identify the cue and reward, you can change the routine, at least on almost every occasion. But for some habits, there is one more ingredient needed, and that is trust. Habits can be changed permanently. All you have to do is believe that change is possible. If trust often comes with the help of a group, then you can try joining a community that can help you change your routine. For example, if you want to lose weight, then study your habits to find cues of why you can eat snacks at your desk every day. Then find someone to go for a walk with or to gossip with at your desk instead of the cafeteria. You can also join a community that has the same goal of losing weight. Because if you want to change your habits, you have to find an alternative routine, and your chances of success go up dramatically if you commit to change as part of a group. Trust is crucial. Trust grows from shared experiences, even if the community only consists of 2 people. Even if habits are ingrained in our minds, they are not destiny. We can choose our habits, and any habit can be changed, as long as we know how it works. Charles Duhigg. The importance of building a habit of full determination or willpower for your success. Willpower is the single most important key habit for individual success. In the 1980s, there was a generally accepted theory that willpower was a learned skill, something that could be taught in the same way that math and saying thank you were taught to children. But in the mid-90s, Mark Muravin, psychology Ph.D. candidate at Case Western, discovered that willpower is not a skill, but a muscle, like the muscles in your arms and legs. If you want to do something that requires willpower, such as a run after work, then you have to conserve your willpower muscles for the day. Then, if you spend too early working on tedious tasks such as analyzing finances or jumping into writing a complicated and tedious letter, your overall willpower to exercise will be gone by the time you get home. In addition, researchers have also found that willpower can be fatigued when there are unfriendly instructions. When a person is given instructions and treated as a human being rather than a robot, his or her willpower is less easily depleted. This can be useful for companies where simply giving an employee a feeling and giving her self-control can increase the energy and focus she puts into her work. So to cultivate full willpower, practice conserving that willpower for the day. When you want to change a habit that requires full willpower, it's important to conserve that willpower by not overextending yourself in other activities. In addition, put that habit under your control so you can increase your focus and energy when forming it. Make a plan to form your new habit. Remember the habit formula. When you see a cue, you will perform the routine to get the reward. To re-engineer this formula, you have to make a choice, which is to have a plan, or in psychology known as an implementation intention. For example, the author's habit of eating snacks every afternoon. Using this framework, the cue is that around 3:30 in the afternoon, the author knows her routine is to go to the cafeteria, buy snacks and chat with friends. From there, the author figured out that it wasn't the snacks that the author craved, but rather a brief distraction and a chance to socialize. So the author would write the plan like this. Every day, at 3:30 in the afternoon, the author would walk over to a friend's table and chat for 10 minutes. To make sure the author remembered to do this, the author set the alarm on her watch to go off at 3:30 in the afternoon. The plan didn't work right away. There were a few days when the author was so busy that she ignored the alarm and bought another snack instead. But on the days when the author followed the plan, the author felt better when the day's work ended. The author didn't go to the cafeteria, didn't gobble up biscuits, and was fine. Eventually, it became automatic. The author mentions that one day the author's watch went missing, but around 3:30 in the afternoon. Every day, as if unconsciously, the author stood up to look around the workspace for someone to chat with, spent 10 minutes talking, and then returned to his or the author's desk. It happens almost without the author thinking about it, and it has become a new habit that replaces the author's snack habit. Changing some habits can be more difficult, but the framework is a starting point. Sometimes change takes a long time. Sometimes change requires repeated trials and failures. But once you understand how habits work, by diagnosing the cues, routines, and rewards, you have power and control over them. Book conclusion. There are 3 habit loop processes in the brain: cues, routines, and rewards. New habits are created by bringing together one cue, one routine, and one reward. Then cravings grow, which will drive the new habit loop. To change a habit, you must keep the old cue and give the same reward, but insert a new routine in the middle. To cultivate full willpower, practice by saving willpower for the day, pretending the habit is under your control. Changing habits is sometimes difficult, but you can create a framework where the starting point is to begin.